It is opening the eyes of the students. It is showing them that there's much more out there than what they've been exposed to. We've had, for example, a student who, when she first started with us, she said, "I want to be a baker," which is great. By the end of our time with her, she said, "I want to own the bakery."
This is Hourglass, the podcast for United Way of King County in Seattle. Coming up, a conversation with Naomi Mulitauaopele Tagaleo'o of Education with the Purpose for Pacific Islanders, a Kent-based organization that provides education resources and support to Pacific Islander youth and their parents. United Way of King County proudly supports Education with the Purpose for Pacific Islanders and its efforts to help students succeed in the classroom and beyond. We will also discuss United Way's free summer meals program and a local volunteer opportunity. I'm your host, Joe Burris. Thanks for tuning in. America's efforts to recognize the uniqueness and celebrate the heritage of Pacific Islanders in our country has been a protracted and piecemeal process. For starters, unlike that of African Americans, Latinos, and Indigenous people, Pacific Islander heritage is usually lumped in with that of Asian Americans, and Asian Americans are usually mentioned first. The nation's official observance of both groups actually began as Asian Pacific American Heritage Week in 1978. Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month was established in 1992 by Congress to be observed each May, but it would take another 8 years before Pacific Islander as a distinct racial category was officially added to the U.S. Census. Like other groups of color, Pacific Islanders embraced their heritage and passed down from one generation to another the importance of family and faith to navigate and succeed in an American melting pot that doesn't always appreciate ethnic and cultural diversity. Pacific Islanders account for about 1% of King County's population, and their communities are replete with people who have achieved success in many professions. They become trailblazers who forge a path for younger generations to follow. Among them are Naomi Mulitauaopele Tagaleo'o, the founder and chief executive officer of Education with a Purpose for Pacific Islanders, a Kent-based organization that provides education resources and support to Pacific Islander youth and their parents. Naomi was the first Pacific Islander drafted by the WNBA when she was selected by the Utah Stars in 2000. According to Northwest Asian Weekly, Utah's Pacific Islander community came out en masse for her games, and Naomi frequently visited Pacific Islander communities there. A Seattle resident, Naomi played center for the Stanford women's basketball team that made it to the 1997 Final Four. She subsequently earned her bachelor's and master's degrees from the school. After retiring from professional basketball, Naomi sought to help younger generations of Pacific Islanders use education to succeed in the working world. Hence, Education with a Purpose for Pacific Islanders, which teaches students and parents almost every aspect of the education system through workshops, trainings, and events. Its work includes Scholars with Purpose After-School Program, which helps students prepare for life after high school. Works of Expression Program, which offers fun activities and hands-on projects to enable Pacific Islander students to use their own culture to integrate into American school systems. And a Summer Youth Program, which helps students improve their knowledge in math, reading, and spelling. Education with a Purpose for Pacific Islanders also helps students find scholarships and apply for financial aid. And it shows parents how to track their students' academic progress online, find tutoring resources, and prepare their children's college preparatory plans. Education with a Purpose for Pacific Islanders is a member of the Racial Equity Coalition, a group of 14 organizations supported by United Way of King County to create communities of belonging for youth of color. Racial Equity Coalition members field after-school programs that celebrate youth's cultural identities and equip them with the tools to stay engaged in school. Hourglass recently sat down with Naomi to talk about the origins, goals, and the impact of her organization. Here's what she had to say.
Well, my husband and I met in 2005, and that was several years after I decided to retire for playing professional basketball here in the United States and abroad. He's also a full-blooded Pacific Islander Samoan. His name is Solomona Atapana Tagaleo'o Sr. now, as we have a son. And in 2009, we decided to start a nonprofit organization in order to provide a roadmap to success for parents and guardians of Pacific Islander students. And what we mean by success, it's being able to live independently, financially secure, culturally aware and proud, and just being able to give back to your family and the community. And so we realized that as a community, this was something that our students, our youth, were struggling with, and we thought it would be the perfect approach to the types of issues that we are facing as a people. And so that we decided to come up with a name. And just growing up, in my experience as a Pacific Islander, the backgrounds that we had, and having to use what we could in order to get into colleges and universities like Stanford's. And my brother, for example, first one to graduate from the Naval Academy. It was something that I realized, okay, I know about this, so let's do this. And that's how the Education with Purpose for Pacific Islanders organization happened or started.
Great. Now, full disclosure. So I moved here from the Baltimore, D.C. area in 2015. Naomi is one of very few people that I met before I came here. When I was still a sports writer for the Boston Globe, covering women's and men's college basketball, I met you, I think, the 1997 Final Four in Cincinnati.
Look at that.
I was actually there to cover, I think, your teammate, Jamila Wagman.
Okay.
And
point guard.
She's a point guard because her father, I think, was teaching at the University of Massachusetts. But I remember you were on that team.
Okay,
that's amazing.
Awesome.
It's amazing. That's how small the world is. At that time,
right.
You were playing there at Stanford. What could you have imagined in terms of where you are now?
Oh gosh, I could not have imagined the path that I chose, because the WNBA had so many opportunities and avenues that you can take. And I didn't realize that personally, going through the process of being a professional athlete and traveling so much and living out of bags and living out of hotel rooms and missing my own kitchen and bed, it started to take its toll. And as a young woman, it was complicated to navigate, and which in turn kind of impacted the way that I decided, okay, I want to actually start a family and have my husband find me. So I actually retired pretty early.
Oh, wow.
Yes, because I realized relationships, it's very difficult to maintain long distance. So I know this isn't the grand stories that people may are familiar to hear about, but that was my story. And so, but hence the Education with Purpose organization came about. So not knowing that from that experience as a professional athlete and meeting so many people and really wanting to find my passion and, just really establish the kind of future that I wanted for myself. Yes, I can put on the history books. Okay, first round draft pick, WNBA, went to play across the world, met so many wonderful people. I can do that, but I also wanted to make sure that I was a wife and a mom and a nurturer, and so here we are, and I'm very happy, and I do owe it all to my experience as a WNBA professional athlete. Shout out to the ABL league as well.
That's
you know that, right,
That's
Joe? You know that.
right.
Being a Seattle Reign
Yes.
member, again, I owe that to my success now to the experiences and training that I got being part of those leagues.
Yes.
For women. Yeah.
Yes. Now, tell me a little bit about some of the missions, values, goals of the organization.
Okay, so specifically, again, through my experience of being a Pacific Islander, we focus mainly on strengthening the parent-to-student relationship. Now, I'm not meaning strengthening the familial relationship, because as Pacific Islanders, we are definitely close-knit, tight. Our family is the core, God first, family second, right? And so what I'm talking about, though, is strengthening the parent and student relationship when it comes to education. That aspect of our culture is something that has to be revitalized, regenerated. We need to make a pivot, so to speak, because our community is very focused on family unit, respect, honor, things of that nature. But when it comes to really navigating the school systems, it is very much so that we believed, well, the majority. My parents, thank God for me, they were more so focused on education.
Right.
But it's not, to be honest, it's really not a big focus in our culture. So that's the reason why one of the biggest focuses we have as an organization is to, give that roadmap to the parents who are actually now my age or younger than me, actually. So I'm talking with the parents. I'm getting to know them and explaining to them, these are the things that your students can do in order to navigate successfully through the school systems. And so that is a huge part of our mission.
It's interesting because you see that in so many cultures, particularly from what I've seen the world over, cultures of color, where, I think sometimes folks don't understand how important it is to see someone in a space and then say, if they made it, I can make it too.
Yes.
Because they're just like me.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And I can use the example of basketball.
Exactly.
We were just talking about that not so long ago, in that being the first Samoan to play in the WNBA, it took 24 years for the next Samoan to get drafted. This year is the third, who I just met. Shout out to Tahina Pau Pau. Love to Alisa Pili as well. But these young women, it took that long. And so if you kind of equate that to what's happening. And I was actually talking with my husband before we got here about the importance of us actually speaking on the fact that although we're labeled as Asian American Pacific Islanders, Native Hawaiians, etc., we're truly very distinct. Our Asian brothers and sisters, they've been in America since the 1800s. Right. But Samoans, we just got here around the 1950s. Right around civil rights, right? So comparing those two, histories, it's very, starting off with that understanding, it's a fallacy that needs to be broken and addressed, because now we have a lot of Samoan children, Tongan, Fijians, who feel that they are so far behind, because when they look around and they see a bunch of their Asian counterparts and who have been here for so long, who's had all these hundreds of years many years to learn the systems, yet we just got here, barely. So that is another aspect of our educating our students and having them understand, you're not far behind. We just got here. We're new to the American fabric.
Right. And it wasn't as if your people lumped you together.
We didn't. Right. No.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, my dad was part of the core of the Samoan men who had gone down to to Olympia to fight for things like, and of course at the federal level, to make our own, we used to be other, right? And then we became Asian. And then we're like, okay, maybe they'll put Samoan or Islander there someday. So, right, it's not amongst us. It is political systems and educational systems that have lumped us together. And so I think that's why it's so important for me to, tell our story and, take hold of our narrative to say and to tell our students that, no, you're not falling behind your Asian friends at school. We just got here and we were labeled as such. So you don't have to, feel that you have to catch up so much. We just got into the race. So let's start where we are. Once we show them the starting line, now we can progress in a way that's impactful. Absolutely. Right?
Now, tell me about the reach of your organization.
Okay, well, right now, being such a small organization, we actually, United Way of King County really helped us to kind of guide our reach in that we're starting off with King County.
Okay.
We serve every Pacific Islander that is from earshot, internet shot throughout King County. Of course, with our pasta funds, that's one of our major buckets of support. So we focus on 8th grade to 12th grade students. So at this point, this is where we are as far as reach. We're able to focus on all the students that we can cover through our Scholars with Purpose after school program. And so as a matter of fact, we used to go to different schools throughout King County. Started off with Chief Sealth, Kent Meridian, Raider Beach, Foster. But we had to do that one at a time as a small organization. That was complicated. But fast forward to the pandemic, we switched to Zoom. Okay. And that allowed us to reach out to even more Pacific Islander families and more schools throughout King County.
And so what are some of the programs, if I were to become a part of your work, what are some of the things that we'd be doing?
Yes. So our main program is the Scholars with Purpose after school program. And what that is, it's based on career path. Okay. It's, again, teaching these children that we live in a timeline, that you have to plan it out, as best you can. And these are some options that you have because a lot of them don't really understand the options. There are some career path activities within the school's curriculums, but when you deal with culture, it's almost void because there's no connection there. And so as an organization, we know our language, we know our histories, we know the nuances. So it's very easy for us to talk with the parents and students themselves directly so that the information and the knowledge is truly, accepted and understood. So that's very important. And then we also have some back to school celebrations and high school celebrations that we do every year. To, again, celebrate the accomplishments of the parents and guardians doing what they could with what they have.
And talk about your impact. What is your impact?
Yeah. So it is opening the eyes of the students. It is showing them that there's much more out there than what they've been exposed to. We've had, for example, a student who, when she first started with us, she said, I want to be a baker, which is great. By the end of our time with her, she said, I want to own the bakery, So things like that. Just opening the eyes of the students. We also have students who have gone on to reach their goals. We have one in particular, Vinyal Kumar. He was a student of ours from Kent Meridian. and he was one of our ambassadors, and he'd gone on to actually be selected as a Husky 100 recognition awardee.
Uh-huh.
Yes, and that award is, can you imagine, out of all of the campuses, actually, of UW, 100. He was named one of the top 100 students, and what that award does, it honors those who have made commitments to this, to leadership, and just really have made an impact within the University of Washington. And so just to name a few things as far as what we've seen our students accomplish throughout the years.
Great. A couple more questions. Your organization is a member of the Racial Equity Coalition?
Yes.
Talk to me about just what that means.
Definitely. So I love my rec brothers and sisters. We have done some great work together. I'm very thankful that the United Way of King County brought us together as a group of non-profit organizations that is led by, people of color. It means so much because the table that we sit at, it's the energy that we have. It's a much more relaxed environment, platform, framework that I don't feel in other spaces. So that's what the Racial Equity Coalition has done for me as a small organization. And I've been able to grow because my rec brothers and sisters have helped me to understand, the space of philanthropy and what resources are out there and how to use them and how to connect. It's a big part of the success of our organization. So shout out to all of you guys out there. Love you guys.
Great. And then lastly, I want you to look to the remainder of the, maybe the summer, all the way through Labor Day. What are some activities that you want the public to know about? How can they learn more?
Wonderful. So we have our website, that's edwpf.org. I'd love to invite everyone to visit our website, and we are actually just in the process of getting everything set up for a 12-week summer youth program.
Okay.
It's going to be hosted at the Kent Commons here locally, and it's for 9th to 12th grade King County Pacific Islander students. And as always, our organization requires that the parents and guardians are the ones that register the kids. They are very aware of what the kids are doing so that it's a village, right? And so, we look forward to running that. That's going to be from June 16th to August 25th. And then we'll have a celebration actually on September 5th. And we're excited for the results of that.
Awesome, Naomi. Education with purpose for Pacific Islanders. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Joe. It's always a pleasure.
For more information on education with a purpose for Pacific Islanders, log on to edwpf.org. You know what goes hand in hand with summertime? United Way of King County Summer Meals Program, which provides free, nutritious meals to youth under 18 throughout King County. United Way is proud to partner with the City of Seattle, No Kid Hungry, Hunger Free Washington, and the Office of the Superintendent of Public Instruction to provide free summer meals and help ease the financial burdens on families this time of year. Free summer meals programs are not hard to find. They're at parks, schools, recreation centers, and other places in your community. For more information about the Free Summer Meals Program, log on to freesummermeals.org. Do you love food and providing nourishment to local communities? The University District Food Bank is looking for volunteers to help serve food to members of its community. If you have just a few hours a week to give, you can make an impact on people's lives. University District Food Bank has volunteer opportunities Monday through Saturday, with some shifts during evening hours. For more information, log on to udistrictfoodbank.org. At United Way of King County, we are working side by side with communities to build an equitable future for everyone. Hourglass United Way is a podcast that highlights how we and our partners spend time making a difference in our communities. Our work is made possible by the generous donations from people like you. Please send comments and suggestions about our podcast to hourglassunitedway@gmail.com. To learn more about our work or to support United Way, log on to uwkc.org. I'm your host, Joe Burris. Thanks for listening. Until next time.